So if you guys haven't heard yet, Capcom has announced a new title coming to their popular Resident Evil franchise, and to the dismay of many fans, it's going to be Resident Evil Umbrella Corps. This is going to be a third-person tactical shooter game, and it's going to have its sole focus be on the multiplayer aspect. Now, the YouTube community has pretty much ripped this game to shreds already. I mean, if you just look at the like-to-dislike ratio on the original trailer, you can see that easily. And while I wholeheartedly agree with the feelings of the general community, I do have some thoughts here that may make the existence of this game hopefully more bearable if it turns out the way that I'm hoping, the way that I'm thinking. But we'll get to that in a minute. So during the Tokyo Game Show showing for Capcom, they unveiled this game, and they did it like in the worst possible way, in my opinion, to introduce this type of game to the fans. What they did was they brought up a screen showing the main titles of the series, and they talked about how this is going to be Biohazard's 20th anniversary, so they get you feeling nostalgic a little bit. And then they show off this little emblem that they made for the 20th anniversary and everything like that. And they get you to think perhaps they're going to announce the next installment of the series, or the next main installment of the series, like Resident Evil 7, is kind of what I thought I was going for. And instead, what they do is they just bring up a image for Umbrella Corps, which you can tell right off the bat is not horror related at all, just by the picture of the three people standing. And yeah, and then they show off the trailer, and it's exactly what you'd expect it to be. You've got your parkour, your cover-based gunplay, your curb stomping, your ice climbing equipment with the zombie smacker thing. I don't know. Yeah, they used it in the Descent. I don't know what it's called. And then you've got freaking zombie shields. All of this in a claustrophobic environment with zombies that act more like freaking confused pedestrians than they act like actual zombies. They don't even pose a threat. And in the gameplay that I've seen, the zombies just kind of stammer around. They really don't pose that much of a threat. All they do is, I don't know, just walk around and fall, pretty much. There's one little section where two different teammates walk by a zombie, and he kind of just, he like leans back. He does the Fat Joe is what he does. Now, I consider myself to be a pretty big fan of Resident Evil. I've played most of the games outside of some of the more obscure titles, and if Capcom hadn't slapped the words Resident Evil on the front of this title, I almost guarantee you that pretty much no one out there would even have, or would even think of this as a correlation to Resident Evil. It's like they saw someone spouting off sarcastic remarks about Resident Evil 6, saying something like, the only way this game could get any better would be if they used zombies for cover. Yeah, that would be great. And they decided to take comments like that and put that into their constructive criticism and kind of base their game off that. That's the only way I could see them coming to this conclusion, because it is just not what any of the fans said about the game, I don't think. I never saw anybody say that the action was great. Keep going with that. I don't know. But anyways, on to what I think may be able to be taken as a silver lining. Should it be Capcom's intention with this title, which I'm hoping that it is. This is my main hope for this game, because the gameplay just doesn't appeal to me. But my main hope for this is I'm hoping that Capcom with this game is trying to make a clear distinction or division in the series between action-based Resident Evil games and horror-based Resident Evil games. Now, we know Capcom has been remastering some old titles that we all know and love, and they recently announced that the long-awaited remake of one of the best-loved games in the series, Resident Evil 2, is on the way. They must be seeing the earning potential in these horror-based styles of play, since they did state that Resident Evil HD Remaster far outsold any of their expectations that they had for it, so they must be seeing the earning potential in here. So here is pretty much what I'm trying to say. Resident Evil 6 was supposed to be a sort of melding between the horror that the games originally stood for and the action that the series has started to get into. However, Capcom doesn't want to lose the horror fans, and they don't want to lose the action fans, so if they made a clear division in the series, then they could keep their action fans, they could keep their horror fans, and everybody would be sort of happy. I mean, they'd still be wasting resources on the action if you like the horror, or they'd still be wasting their money on the horror if you like the action. But that would be the best way, I guess, this series could go into. Hopefully what they're doing with this, like I said, is with the action side, they put Resident Evil... Resident Evil 6 was kind of the melding, and then they'd kind of split that, and the action side would go into Umbrella Corps, and the horror side would go into, like, the Resident Evil 2 remake, and then hopefully Resident Evil 7 whenever that comes out, and the continuation of the main series. If they could keep the continuation of the main series as a horror franchise, I think people would be okay with these one-offs, at least I would, just because the gameplay would be different, and I just think that would be a happy medium, and I'm hoping that's kind of what they're doing with this, and that's the only way that I can see this title not getting critically panned. Well, I mean, it'd still get critically panned if it's bad, but not getting just bashed on by the community, because it is such a far departure from where the series originally stood. And yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on the game. I'm still probably going to buy this game, to be completely honest with you. I am a pretty big fanboy of the series. I'm still probably going to buy this game. Probably not at launch, but I will buy this game down the road eventually. And it's not one that I'm looking forward to at all. But like I said, I'm a very big fan of Resident Evil, so I'm still eventually going to buy the game. But let me know in the comment section below if you're interested in this game. Let me know your thoughts on this game, really. Do you like my thoughts of this being more of a split for the series? Does that sound appealing to you? Just let me know in the comments below, because I am very interested in this. And if you guys enjoyed this video, then please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. You all have a great day, and I hope to see you in my next video.